Have you ever thought just how boring or ridiculous news commentary is today? Welcome to the Real Jacks Podcast with Jim and Larry. The Real Jacks Podcast. From crime and politics to entertainment, you can expect something different. Now, let's get real, Jacks.
Real Jacks with Jim and Larry is brought to you by
Extreme Wings, 4 convenient locations, family sports restaurant and grill, more than just wings. Tremendous Barbecue, open since 2007, 8927 Hurlong Road, open 11 to 8, Tuesday through Saturday, and Sunday 11 to 3. Full barbecue menu, everything homemade, they cater anything, and they love first responders. Advanced Window Tint, 5024 Sunbeam Road, over 26 years experience. 3M Platinum Dealer, highest level of 3M dealer around. They tint vehicles, homes, and businesses. Secure One Protection Services, number one choice for protection since 1986. 356-1111. D-Way Towing, 100 South Jackson Avenue. Phone number is 904-356-3929. They take care of all your towing needs. See our friend Doug Dixon. Wild West Guns and Gold, family owned and operated for over 30 years. Stop in and visit them and their professional staff for all your hunting and shooting sports equipment. They have great customer service with competitive prices. Remember, Wild West Guns and Gold, our friends at Wild West. Vic Gibran, he's a good friend and great business owner and looks out for folks on the west side. They're on Lane Avenue. Go see him. Norman Brewer for Jacksonville District 11 City Council. We need fighters that will truly represent us on the city council. Norman Brewer is that guy. He's a constitutional conservative, former law enforcement officer, successful businessman. Norm will call it like he sees it, and you will have no better advocate on the council.
Hey, welcome back to Real Jacks with Jim, Larry, and Crawfish. No Crawfish today, but I'm back from vacation. Larry didn't give me the memo that we had a wardrobe upgrade to
a suit on. That's
shirts and ties. So
today, you wouldn't have saw that otherwise.
Yeah.
Next time you see me, it'll probably be my own funeral in a suit.
I hope not.
Yeah. I don't wear suits.
Today's special guest is Kaitlin Colegate with the RWCDF, also known as the Republican Women's Club of Duval Federated, and a scholarship recipient of RWCDF, Emily Soud, is with us today. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having me.
Wait a minute, who's your mom?
Marcy Soud.
Okay, yep. You kin to Ginger Soud? And
she's my grandmother.
Okay.
And Adrian Soud.
Outstanding. He's my dad.
I know. Okay. We like the Soud family.
Oh, thank you.
Love the Soud.
I love the Soud family. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Ladies, who wants to go first?
Tell us about Duval Federated.
Duval Federated, okay. So Duval Federated Club, so Republican Women's Club of Duval Federated, it's a mouthful. We were chartered in 1944 locally, which was held, that was a Democrat hold then. And our club nationally has been around since 1938. So we are all around the country in every state.
I've never heard of it. It's been around since 38.
1938 nationally. 1944 locally.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably my mom never been
Interesting.
The whole life, never really.
Yeah.
I can see your mom running it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I can see.
Oh, my God.
We're going to have his mom on one day.
Yes, absolutely. I would love Larry's mom to come on.
That's the show I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
She's not on Facebook, and she'll get the call, because I put this stuff, I take pictures of her and say all kind of crazy stuff about her. And I'll go, well, did you put me on the Facebooks? Yes, ma'am.
The Facebooks.
So
tell us what y'all do.
What do we do? So our mission is to empower women to have a level playing field at the political table, locally, statewide, and nationally. So we do that by outreach, education. Esther Bird, she's been on, as many know. She's been our president since last year and has ramped up our club. We went from about 100 members to currently 442 members.
Wow.
And that's Duval. So that's
just
not
Duval.
just
Duval. Serious recruitment there.
Serious recruitment. And we're up to, I believe, 4 events a month right now. Evening events, lunch events, trainings, tours at the supervisor of elections office. We really want women and the next generation, like Emily sitting here, to be educated and be able to sit at the table and have a voice.
In a Republican.
In the Republican Party. As a Republican, yes. All of our members, we verify their voter registration.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, so you have to, Emily's laughing.
You got to be a card carrying.
Yes. Or like Emily,
member,
our scholarship recipients had to be either pre-registered or registered as Republicans.
Good.
So we ensure that
Makes sense. You're going to
Keep,
give
keep
money.
the spies out.
keep the spies out. Yes.
Little card carrying communists getting your
right.
scholarship. Yeah.
So my role with the Republican Women's Club is I'm the Caring for America chair. We have 18 different committees on our club locally. And we often hear that the Republican Party is not there for the, how do I put this? The community and like the homeless outreach, the
Underserved communities.
The underserved communities, yeah. I always say it's like the rich and famous country club. I think our party, especially right now, we're the Balloons, Dreams, and Barbecue Party, I think. And so my goal is to go out there and do outreach in those communities, whether that's homeless. We do a lot with our veterans and first responders. We have a Young Moms Club, so we're doing events for young moms, single moms, and to reach out to them too. And this is
They need some attention. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the scholarship program was a great way to bring the younger generation into our club.
So tell me what just real quick, tell me what the scholarship's about.
The scholarship,
is it just an educational?
It's educational-based scholarship.
Okay.
So you have to be applied at a university, and it's a topic, so a 500-word essay on whatever topic that is. This is our first year doing it, so we were super excited. And they have to be a registered Republican. What else? They have to submit a resume. It was a pretty vigorous process. We had 6 people on the scholarship committee, and they're $1,000 scholarships. We gave out 5. We have 5. We gave out 3 this year, and they can use it towards their tuition. They can use it towards their room and board, kind of whatever they want.
It's a lot of work.
It is, yeah.
Y'all going to have to raise the scholarship.
And
It's a lot of money to raise.
Where does the money come from? Just
Where does the money come
just
from?
fundraisers?
Fundraisers.
Okay.
So we, at every event, you'll see us out there, and our jewelry committee, we have a whole separate group of ladies that love the patriotic jewelry, and they sell it at our events. We have other various fundraisers that we do throughout the year, and that's where the scholarship money comes from. But we truly believe that it's an investment in our next generation in our party.
Well, you got to recruit. You look at a lot of things. We talked about, remember the Sheriff's Watch? You go to the Sheriff's Watch now, and there's not a lot of young participation, and you can't have a future of any organization without trying to recruit.
That's a sign when you don't see young faces in an organization. Mm-hmm. You know who else is like that is the Shriners. And the Masons. They're dwindling. There's not a lot of young blood in there.
But they don't have, they don't, one of their mottos is the way they don't recruit. They'll sponsor you, but you have to seek out. And they need to probably change that if you're going to have any organization, club or anything. They're going to have to recruit to stay alive.
I think that was kind of even when I came in. I've been in Jacksonville now 3 years, and I had to go out and kind of find is there a Republican Party here? What kind of events are going on? Is there other groups? And I stumbled upon the Women's Club, and that was a kind of welcome yourself. I think now the environment has changed with our Women's Club, and doing these things, but it's kind of the same thing. You had to go out and kind of find it.
And now you got to recruit. So that's your job in a few years. You're gonna have to.
Oh goodness.
You're gonna have to take up the mantle.
But I would love Emily to share how she did her essay and why she decided to apply.
Yeah, and what are you
going to do with the money?
Right. And do we get to get a copy of the essay?
Yeah.
Is that
are you going to read it here
for
today?
public consumption?
I have it. I can certainly send it if you guys would like to read it.
I'd read it. I mean, would say 500,
about 500
About 500
Yeah,
I mean, it's something
not too long.
I'd read just to give me some insight as to what it takes to write an essay to become a member.
You got camera presence too, so like it's immediate. You've done this before?
I have never done this.
What? Outstanding. You're doing well.
Thank
You're doing
you.
well.
So I am very fond of the Republican Women's Club, just what they stand for and their goals in, like, locally on the state level and nationally is something that I was like, oh, yeah, I want to be a part of that, Great people supporting a great cause. So I was so honored to be able to receive one of the scholarships and just to be able to apply, honestly, for something like that. That money will really help us with books, I think, because those are like way expensive. Right. So I think that's what we're looking to spend that towards. Regarding the essay, one of the things that I talked about the most was law enforcement. I think that's something that is very important for my generation to keep realize how important they are in the community and how, I think they're not valued as much.
Don't always listen to what Don't learn what the police are about through the news, basically. Don't watch the news to find out what the police are.
Exactly.
What they do for you.
So that was one of the things I wrote about, is being able to constantly support them in whatever they need. In Jacksonville, I have a little sister and a lot of little cousins, and I want to know that they're safe, and I want to know that I'm safe when I go out with friends. So that's something that I definitely talked about, was supporting them here, but also nationally, securing our borders and giving those officers, I guess you could say, what they need to keep America first and keep us safe. Another thing I talked about was taking the founding of our country and its Judeo-Christian values and putting that back in the classroom. So teaching kids that are elementary, middle school, even high school, why the country was founded the way it was, and how our founders were geniuses and how they split the branches, and I go on and on about that.
We're very far away from that now. To get back to that would be great, and I think that would solve a lot of problems we won't talk about here today, but I think that's what we're missing in the schools.
Kind of talked about that with the last show with Chuck Brandon about some of the shootings and the shootings going on around their country and the laws that are trying to pass. And I'm a big gun guy, obviously, but you're on the right track. So we want you to do that. Follow that up.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's why it's so important to get our younger generation and share those
engaged,
and share those Republican values, which are, like she said, are a lot of biblical values that I was listening to this morning, and so she's going to be a great ambassador to go out and share that, especially she's going to Jacksonville University, correct?
Yes.
And so she'll definitely be able to share those.
My wife's alumni from there.
Oh, awesome.
And your major will be?
Communications.
Okay. You going to law school after that?
I'm not sure.
Background,
We'll see about that one.
Family, okay. Zach, Zach's going. They start law school this year.
Yes, they did.
So Zach's applying there because he's finished his bachelor's.
Awesome.
In law. So Zach Crawfish is going. He's going to try to be one of the first.
That'll be super
the first class of
awesome.
law school. That'll be cool. Jacksonville University. Yep, outstanding. So you wrote on that and communications. What are you going to do with that?
Yes. So my goal one day is to run for public office. My ultimate goal is to be White House press secretary.
Oh, wow.
Super cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Taylor McEnany, I look up to her. I've gotten to meet her twice, luckily.
Great aspiration there.
So that is my goal, but just being able, starting young after I, graduate college, starting here in the local level and then growing to the state and then maybe hopefully growing nationally. And I figured that communications, people always say, my parents especially, you have to be an effective communicator. And rather than going a route where I had to worry about professors telling me what I should believe and why I should believe it, I figured, why not just learn how to articulate what I believe and why I believe it.
Yeah. I'm trying to get my oldest son to finish college. He picks at this. He's running restaurants, but my youngest one went through trade school, which is kind of unusual. But it's much like college. It takes 4 years. He had to finish that, and there's a master's program, so he gets his master's test. And like you said, the books are expensive. Even for a trade school book, his books were like, and it's only like a few months long, the class for the trades master's program.
Right.
And it was like $1,600 for the books. It's $3,000, like $1,200 for the class.
Yeah,
and $1,600 for the books.
Somebody
get some of the money back from the sale back of the books or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody needs to figure out why school books are so expensive.
Why education is so expensive.
Right.
Education is so expensive in this country.
Yeah, I had to take student loans. I think everybody's
same.
getting them paid off. I'm like, man, can they retro some of that? I'd like to get some of that money back. I took student loans and
I think they're giving all that money back to everybody.
Well, I need all mine back.
Yeah. Well,
I bought a computer. I bought
not the
books,
Republicans.
Class.
If you're a Republican, you don't get any money back.
We don't get the money back.
No.
No, not at all. We don't get any of it.
Probably not.
Wow. So tell us more about RWCDF.
RWCDF. All right.
Wait. Tell us who your husband is and what he does.
Yeah. Might we add that former guest, Major Teddy Colegate.
A former guest.
Major Teddy Colegate.
Did you have him on again?
I think he was like our second guest. Second or third guest.
You were second guest.
And we've had him here a couple times.
Yeah.
So, yes, he is in the studio with us today.
Yeah.
It's pretty odd for me to be over here and him to be on the couch listening.
It's good. It's going to make faces and try to get you to...
yeah. So I'm just going to look this way, not look over there.
Yeah.
The club, it is... it's growing. We are excited this year with Esther at the helm. She has, you guys know, she's a firecracker, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we went from
former Marine.
Former Marine, yes.
Or do they like to be called ex-Marine? I think. Is it former?
Settle down.
Yeah.
Ted, straighten me out on that, Teddy.
Get over that couch.
Is it former? Okay.
Still a Marine, really.
Still Marine.
Yeah.
Once Marine, always
Gotcha.
Marine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They'll accept former. There will be no X.
I know. I get it wrong. I get it reversed. Whatever.
Yeah, no,
but anyways,
don't
I've been straightened out on it a few times though.
Yeah.
So
more than once.
we are going into election season. So most of our events, meetups are getting Republicans elected. Good, solid, conservative Republicans elected.
Yeah.
Whether that's phone banking or door knocking, my email blows up, and Teddy can attest to this. He gets emails probably every day almost, just about different events and different outreach that we're doing. Like I said, from phone banking, the Governor DeSantis campaign is huge right now. And then once we get past primary, because we can't endorse in a primary.
And you shouldn't.
And we shouldn't. We can't. Everyone kind of does their own thing.
Republicans competing. You really should stay out.
So once the primary is done, then our sole focus will be getting Republicans endorsed and voted in. So just like that Nick Howland race that just happened, we flipped that seat, and that was a large part to our club. You know.
Well, it's amazing how you and Teddy are both so engaged in the community, and the problem with some people getting voted in that we don't like is because nobody wants to get engaged. People just don't want to get out there and do the work.
It's a lot of time.
There's a lot of time.
This is our life.
It's your life. It's your life, and you've got to put in the time, or don't complain about the people that
get elected.
Get elected. You know. A lot of people don't even go out and vote. I'm like,
oh yeah.
One of the greatest rights you've got. I'm like, did you vote? No, man, we didn't make it out there.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
average.
It's not a big deal. It doesn't count.
Yeah, my vote didn't count. Yeah.
When we
Just
looked
one
at the
vote.
special election, and they told me we're estimating about 8 to 10%, maybe 12% voter turnout.
August?
That was for the special election. Oh no, this past special election that we had for.
But it was 30.
Yeah, we had huge voter turnout.
Wasn't it like 30 or 33%?
And
really
we.
high.
But for
a
us to say,
special
wow, 8 to 10%, it's crazy. I was like, people aren't going to vote, And yeah, so getting people out to vote, getting informed voters. Yeah. I will say, I say this all the time. I say this all the time. I'm not going to, if you want to vote Democrat, you want to vote Republican, or you want to vote for a liberal, however you want to vote, fine. But just be informed, be educated. Like, have a reason why you're voting for that person.
Too many people vote party.
Absolutely.
And they don't know anything about that candidate. They're not informed. And we had this discussion a while back.
It's the last person you saw on your TV commercial. It's the last person that Larry and I have this talk all the time.
I'll cross party lines. He'll cross party lines. Depends on the person, really. Well, mostly Larry will.
I'm doing it once.
Yeah.
I haven't done it. This will be the first time coming up in an election, the first time in 30 years.
Well, there are occasions. Yeah. It really depends on the person. And it depends on the office.
It does. And it also, like, where
it's kind of nonpartisan.
I think some races should be nonpartisan.
Yeah.
Like judicial races are nonpartisan.
Right.
I think sheriff's races should be nonpartisan, just in my opinion.
But like you said, like, oh, my vote doesn't count. This is going to be public knowledge that I say this now. So when I didn't know anything about pre-registering to be able to vote. And then when I turned 18, it was an election year. So I just didn't vote. And then I didn't vote, and I didn't vote. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. And so, I worked a campaign and didn't vote. Like, I just... And I know Emily's face is like, what?
Wow.
I believed in the person.
The truth comes out.
Yeah, right.
Now the truth comes out.
No, I mean, I share this because I was young. I wasn't educated in the voting space, and it didn't matter. And so finally, like, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go vote. And that was only 2 cycles ago. Because it was just like, it didn't matter. And now I'm like, no, you guys got to go vote. It's got to be a thing.
Thinking?
Yeah, what was I thinking?
Not only go vote, you need to get on the phone and call people and say,
let them know,
are you going to, can I come by and pick you up? Let's all go vote today. Let's all go vote and go have lunch.
And that's what our club's about. That is
make it an activity.
That is
I've missed a couple.
Yeah.
I will say I've missed a couple. Usually it's work related, or I'm tied up on something, or remember one year we had a bunch of work stuff going on. I just kept, I got to stop by. And then you feel terrible, but. I don't miss voting typically.
Well, a lot of times people won't vote because they look at the 2 candidates running. This is why I was saying crossing lines earlier. It's pretty much got to be like a nonpartisan type race. But sometimes your candidate for your party might really just suck.
Yeah.
Just really be awful. And
Yeah.
you can almost predict what the outcome's going to be of that race. And some people do that and they go, I'm not going to go vote because I know this guy or this girl is not going to win. But that's not.
We're in the era
you should still go.
We've had a couple.
We still need to go punch that back.
Yeah.
Need to
the
go.
last 10 or 15 years that were like razor thin. What was it? Was Atlantic Beach? They had one that was like 3 votes or something, or 1 or 2 or 3 votes.
I remember one that was 30
Yeah.
in Atlantic Beach, and I think the population of Atlantic Beach or the voting population is 13,000. I'm not
And
sure
there
what
was
the
a couple
registered voters are, but
of Jacksonville City Council votes that were like
minuscule.
minuscule.
Well, look at the governor race going back
Oh, yeah.
to Gillum and DeSantis.
Could you imagine
If that
what
was
Florida
today.
would be like if Gillum was our governor?
Oh, he was
We wouldn't be sitting here.
he was so
Let's just
he was so
start
extreme, and of course we're not gonna.
Then all
We're not going to talk about him, and there's pictures of him we can't show you, so
Yeah.
that are on the internet.
Yeah,
So,
but especially right now. So
but he
with
could have been our governor.
With our economic climate, with our political climate, not even in the city, but the state, we have a good governor, so I won't.
we do.
Our Florida's
Wonderful.
really good right now,
Yes.
but nationally, this is a vital time to get registered
Yeah,
and go
It's
out and
critical,
vote.
man.
I mean, we are flipping seats. I think it was just on the news this morning where they flipped a seat in Texas, and a Republican woman.
Yeah, I was trying to watch the news. I
Yeah.
didn't miss that. Did they actually flip one? They flipped one.
Yeah,
in
and so
Texas?
she won her
Good.
a congressional seat, and she's I want to say a female immigrant from Mexico. She's legally went through the process,
Good.
married to a border patrol
Fine,
agent,
no problem.
and she wants
Welcome.
to protect that city. And you know, Kat Kamak says this all the time. Every city's a border city right now, and especially, I mean, I could go into so much about all of that stuff, but I won't. But right now, it's critical that we have strong conservatives.
Midterms
that
coming
are,
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, COVID's not going to come back until right before the midterms. So I would say that's predictable. Who wants to put money on it? Hey,
Well,
new
here
strain
in
of COVID's
Florida,
out
we go
right before
out
the
and
midterms.
vote, and we go out and vote in person.
We go anyway,
and
yeah.
we have great election laws that are going to
I like early voting.
early
I like
voting.
it.
Yeah, that's
I like going in there
early
and not,
voting.
and not having to deal with election day. I don't know how people wait till election day. I don't know. I
Some
could
people,
stand
it's
those
a
lines.
very traditional thing
Madness.
to some people,
Yeah.
voting on election day.
A lot of older people.
I don't have
Yeah.
time for all that. Just
Yeah.
get me in there, get me to a thing, and I gotta go.
Well, like Larry said, I found if I go early, sometimes you walk in there, it's like, I'm the only person here.
Yeah,
Thank God I came early.
If you go during a weekday when people are at work, it's
Yeah.
the best time ever in early voting.
Yeah.
You walk in and you might have 1 or 2 people in there voting with you.
Yeah.
And so, for everyone listening, you can go on and follow our page
There you
on
go.
Facebook and on Instagram.
There you go.
And
You have a website?
we have a website.
What's the website?
Yep.
Ooh,
See? There's gonna be test questions.
So
Thank God
it-
Teddy's here. So what's the
we're gonna
website?
have
Teddy?
if somebody searched Republican Women's Club of Duval Federated, your
we are going
website's
to
going to come up.
We are
Okay.
going to pop up.
That's a lot.
and
It's probably not all that. In
I don't think it's all of that.
all of that in the.
Well, it's probably like rwcdf.com. Or
We're going to look it up,
something.
though.
We need
It's
to,
being
yeah.
looked up right
We
now.
got
Need to.
Crawfish Senior working on that right
When,
now.
when you send me her essay, let me know what the.
And we're
at
on
the same time, you
Instagram.
can let us know.
So if
what-
you go on
yeah.
and follow us on those social media handles, you'll be able to see the upcoming elections, dates that you can go vote,
Instagram,
early voting locations. If you do not know where to vote, our club, that's what our club's
Y'all
there,
got
is
it-
to
you got it
educate. We're going to
spelled
help you. You know, you don't have to be a member of our club. If you reach out and you say, hey, I want to go vote, we're going to get you to the right place unless
Well,
you're Democratic.
they do move some of those
Yeah.
those
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
precincts
We're going to help
around.
you out.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Same
And
Democrats
so-
get voted the same election, so if they look it up, they'll find it out.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna get your so I'm gonna put your essay. You know, we've got a Facebook page for this, so
Okay.
I want to put your essay up on there and just say this is what she contributed to get the
Yeah.
Great idea.
It's kind of,
I would.
Very good
I think
idea.
that's awesome.
Crawfish
And-
will work that. He's got the stomach bug, but you find it, Teddy?
Yes, sir.
What
It is rwcdf
That's what I thought.
.wildapricot.org.
Okay.
Or rwcdf. That's the
Mm-hmm.
hashtag or the for the other 2 social media.
How does Wild Apricot? How's that play into?
Wild Apricot is we are a membership club, so women can join, men can join as well. We have associate memberships for men. Teddy sitting over here.
96.
Like, are you really a reserve member? What do they call it? Auxiliary reserves? They got some term or something for it.
Yeah.
Men's
Like
auxiliary.
police. Yeah, like police.
Yep,
Police
so men
reserves,
can
auxiliary.
join. It's an advantage to join. So if you go to one of our events, you get the member pricing and not the
Yeah.
guest pricing.
Oh, that's
So
good.
and it helps do our scholarship fund, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to be a part of it because I know some people like a funnel in.
Yes, yes.
To be members.
That's why we're here. We're recruiting right now.
Some
That's
women.
what we're doing.
Right.
Teddy, sign them up.
So, you know,
Apricot
guys like Larry and I we can basically be recruiters. I mean, seriously.
No, we are.
Will I get kicked out if I vote for a Democrat, though?
In a nonpartisan race.
No comment.
well,
we don't check your voting record. We check your registration
status. Here's the point. This is a case in point where it comes down to qualifications, not party affiliation.
Absolutely.
In this case, and you don't in this particular race, he's talking about you don't vote for someone just because of their party.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this. Back in Jacksonville in the 80s, so my uncle was a city councilman here.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Republican. You had to run as a Democrat basically because the way the the way the election is set up, you could not run in certain areas unless you were a Democrat. But the moment he got elected, within a month, within days, it wasn't very long, he changed parties to Republican.
Yeah.
Because he was a Republican at heart. But back then in the 80s, they've changed it since then. The elections are set up differently, so you can be whatever party you want to and run. Because now they're, the jungle primaries are really so, and it was him and two other guys, and this is old Ocean Way politics, and of course these are Dixiecrats, they're not really Democrats. I mean, it was more like Republicans with a D in front of their name, so it was just different, and he was a city councilman for 8 years. But back then you had to be a Democrat to run. You remember those days?
It's funny. It's true. It's funny. I knew of him long before I knew you.
Yeah.
Max Lake had been around for a long time.
Well, he was a fire chief and all that kind of stuff, fireman, and then he was interim city chief, I think, for briefly, and then he ran and did that, and then he got into prison ministry because we had a cousin James that went to prison. Mm-hmm. And he got involved with prison ministries and did a bunch of that for a bunch of years. And then that's when they named the road after him on the north side.
Have we been doing this long enough to put repeats out there? Because that should be a repeat.
Yeah, that was
with your cousin Steve.
No, James.
James.
Yeah, well, Steve is Max's son.
Steve is.
I just saw them. I saw James that was here. My cousin Steven.
Steve is the one that just moved to Fernandina.
Yeah,
right.
And then my other cousin Dave.
Right.
I got a bunch of cousins.
He should be a black guy because he got more cousins than anybody I've ever met. I got my cousin. I got this cousin and this cousin.
A whole day of Larry's family.
Everybody's a cousin. Everybody's his cousin. Everybody's his cousin.
But we have to start with Larry's mom because I think that would be.
I think Larry and I might be cousins. We haven't been cousins.
I'm gonna get Jacob on because he's very opinionated. He's pretty funny.
He's very opinionated.
Yeah. Well, he's a young guy, and he talks about his generation. He's not that much older than y'all, and he talks about his generation, how soft they are, and how there's no work ethic, and he uses terms that I probably wouldn't want him to use, even though we can be explicit on here because it's a podcast. But he'll say whatever,
But I love hearing that coming from a guy his age, because. But
he was always kind of rugged and a little different anyway. I mean, he's just kind of a tough kid. So 27 years old, he's not much. Yeah. How old are you? 18.
17.
17. He's 10 years older than you. That's still kind of a generation for him. And this is
my sister.
Okay. How old are you?
14.
Okay.
Yeah, a future Republican
like
Women's Club member.
Are you? When can they join? That's a good.
18.
18. Huh? Oh, you got to be.
They got to be 18.
Got to be 18.
Well, maybe they should create like
for the scholarship, they have to be pre-registered as a Republican. And you can pre-register when you turn 16 to vote. Okay. And so, in order for that to happen, and then they're not obligated to join the club afterwards. But
if you can get them, before voting age, and start the Republican indoctrination process. Because the other's happening in the schools.
Yeah, we might as well start indoctrinating people.
The other indoctrination process is already happening in the schools.
How about liberating? So, we'll call it that. Liberating their mindset.
There you go.
There's teen Republican
just
club.
Just get them thinking about it.
Young Republican club. So there's different Republican clubs for different age groups. Mm-hmm. Not that ours is adult content or anything like that. No. It's just Yeah, you got to have parameters too. And if we have a topic that's a little bit sensitive, we're not getting parental releases.
I'm glad y'all are doing that because a lot of the Republican clubs of any caliber of any group, you see a lot of them catching flack in college from other groups trying to attack them, and Republican groups and conservative college groups. Kids, they've had to sue to get their to have the same rights as.
What happened to freedom of speech?
Yeah, well, it depends on
That's one thing I'm excited to be able to do going into college is
speaking
that, but be able to start those groups and get people who might be scared, get them involved. Hey, we're doing this event, all that kind of stuff.
Maybe get Jacob back in school.
Be different. Don't run with.
We'll have his bachelor's. I'll get him back.
The other crowd.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Because you're probably going to be the minority group So hey, you know,
Because the
Randall,
professors
we
a lot
are
are
the conservative
liberal
crowd
to it.
because
Yeah.
the majority are not in that age group now.
Yeah.
So
So
That's-
and
that's
she'll
a whole
have
nother
our
show.
full support
It's a whole nother
to
show.
start clubs.
Well, outstanding.
yeah.
Oh no, support or push, either one.
Anything else you want to tell us?
Yeah, is there anything on the agenda or on the horizon that y'all are working on?
On the horizon. So, like I said before, right now we're just getting volunteers. Right now, focusing on the Governor DeSantis campaign, and then after the primary, you'll see a lot of push for volunteers to get Republicans elected and through the general.
Yeah.
And we'll need help then. So, from door knocking to phone banking to just go sharing events. So that's what we're really focusing on now. We got a candidate forum coming up, and I'll get you that information. I don't have solid dates on
For
that.
which race?
I think it's just any candidate,
candidate,
like
okay.
just general questions.
Where's that going to be held?
I will have to get you information on
Only
that.
Republicans.
But a
though, right?
candidate
Only
forum.
Only Republicans, different races. So I don't have all the information for that yet. I kind of
Like
let
the House
those
seat, District
committees
15 coming up? Is
to-
that coming up?
um,
Okay.
yeah, so I don't have the information for those specifics. I kind of let those committees do what those committees do.
I got you.
I like to keep to my
Yeah,
fun stuff, as I
Yeah.
say. So
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I got you.
staying in my lane. So
got
my committee we are going to be doing a back to school drive over the summer to help those underserved kids have school supplies, and then as we go into the fall, we will do veterans and first responders.
Do y'all give this I had a church on the west side I used to do stuff with when I was over there as the chief on a Ricker Road. It's a very underserved community, but Robert Brown's a pastor, good guy. He does a back to school. He'll have book bags and notebooks, and he does all that for a lot of the areas around Ricker and 103rd. If you've been in Ricker and 103rd, it's a bad area.
Yeah, so we'd love to support out there.
I'll get you in touch with him.
Yeah, and then if we have
Sounds like there might be like kind of a vacuum out there. That you know what I'm saying? Where you might need to get somebody
That'd be good
from
for
your
the
group to work that area.
Yeah,
to work
so
that area.
I live on the west side,
Yeah.
we live on the west side, and and I say this all the time, there really isn't much out on the west side for the party, and I don't know
Right.
if it's just
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I could say
well, I'm sure Larry has more information on that.
Yeah.
But
the west side's been very underserved in a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
and we
Yeah.
want to get out there. I mean, that's what we want to do, and it's
Ricker and 103rd was my stomping grounds, and I drive down 103rd now. It's like, oh, is this a scene from The Walking Dead? It's like a TV show.
But
Yeah.
Larry, I think the parties are changing over there too, though.
Mm-hmm.
The people have changed, not the people it's not the same people you grew up with, and
No.
your voters are changing over there.
oh yeah.
So you do need a strong presence in that area.
Yeah, they do.
So we'll be
Yeah.
out there. I like to door knock where I can leave my house and go
Yeah.
knock on the doors in my neighborhood.
Does Teddy go with you?
No.
The door knock?
Yes,
Okay.
he does.
Okay. That can be no, sir. That can be a dangerous.
busy
It can
guy
be a
anyway.
dangerous
He's a busy guy. Yeah.
activity. It can be a dangerous activity.
I've started to cut activities out of my life recently.
me
I'm
too.
starting to trim a lot of things
Yeah.
out.
My goal is to have less goals.
Yeah.
Other than my goal to have less
Turned in
goals.
what was gonna
This
be
could be my whole goal.
I turned
Only
in what was
goal.
going to be a 2 weeks notice into a month notice. I'm staying a month
Yeah.
longer at my job because 2 weeks longer, a full month instead of 2 weeks because he's got a vacation. He asked me to do this. I said, that's fine. I need some other things from you. So he's going to help
Yeah.
me with that. So
I'm on the same path, brother.
Yeah.
I am. It's time to.
yeah. I went on vacation, come back, and we went on vacation. I come back and I called him and said, hey, I need to see it at this one of the stores Monday. He
That's
goes,
the last thing an employer wants to hear is
Yeah,
someone
right.
comes
Are
back
you
from
turning in
vacation.
your notice? I was like,
I need to meet with you now.
Kind
I've had
of.
some time to think.
I mean, I don't have to go anywhere in a hurry if you need me for a little while. He's like, well, I want to do this. I want to do that. And I said, well, I'll stay around for you. It's no
We'll check back in 6 months.
Yeah.
In the way,
and see where Larry's
the employer
I've
interprets.
already started looking
Yeah.
at property.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
And his boss interprets as Larry wants a raise.
Larry, yes,
that means
yeah.
Larry
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wants a raise.
I don't know if there's enough money. Really.
Right.
I mean,
quality of life,
my
bro.
best friend's got ALS.
Right.
One of my good friends that I work with almost every day, that he worked for me when I was a lieutenant. He was a sergeant. He made lieutenant. We worked together in Zone 2. He just died, and they just buried him last week, 49 years old. Hell, I was at a funeral today. Obviously he was elderly, but you just start seeing it, people sick, dying, and
Yeah.
how much time have they had? Because I worked every day since I was 15. I mean, I
Me
went
too.
to work.
I
at
rarely
Emily's
took
face.
vacations. I rarely took
She cried.
vacations.
Yeah.
All the way up till I turned 16. I went to work for my dad at Nimnik Chevrolet. I was there till I turned 27. Went for the sheriff's office. I mean, I left on a Friday, started on Monday, and I worked 28 years. And the day I finished that, I started this job. I haven't had any break doing anything. Nothing.
I was shocked that you retired, and I was like, you're already working somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to just take a weekend off?
I actually left. Ran out time with JSO to finish my drop, and just so I could go to work for him, And he obviously gave me a brand new vehicle. That was kind of the big thing that got me there. The money's okay.
Here's a fancy truck.
If you could slow down long enough,
and
then after like a couple of days, you kind of get the hang of it. You go, oh man, this is really good.
I'll fill my time. Everybody's like, I've been missing out on this. Me, I'll be good.
Yeah.
I'll go to the gym.
Teddy's shaking his head. Yeah.
I'm gonna go once a week out to Muay Thai at the beach. I'm going to learn Spanish.
You guys can ride together. Can you
learn Spanish.
He wants to do the Muay Thai.
I'm going to learn Spanish.
You can pick him up.
My granddaughter is
split gas.
My son Jacob, his child, his mother's
We could teach you that.
Yeah. Oh, our side conversation.
My grandchild's Hispanic. She doesn't speak it around us, I think, because she's embarrassed. But I want to learn Spanish, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to set up on my computer and go to class on whether it's Rosetta Stone, whatever, 3 to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
I'm going to cook every night. I bought a freezer, another grill. I've got a lot.
Best way to learn Spanish, go to Mexico for a week. Probably. You'll come back and you'll know 200 words. Yeah, just go there.
200 words.
You'll go back.
I took in high school.
Well, you'll know the most important ones,
I can pick out words
for his granddaughter,
I think I know the subject of this conversation, but that's the best I can do right now. So I want to learn Spanish. That's
That's been on my bucket list for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go wherever I want to go. I got a buddy in Steenhatchee, he's got a place out there. I want to go back to the mountains and start looking for property.
Make phone calls.
Well, I was thinking about that one race, and then I started putting that together and going, God, if I leave this to go to that, all I'd be doing all day is chasing checks during the day and walking neighborhoods every single night.
Yeah.
And then when I leave, and if you've seen me with my dog, have you seen me with Zoe?
Yeah.
I don't leave my dog. She and I don't get separated more than a couple of days. I mean, that's really rough. Unless they let me take her to Tallahassee, I don't know. My Catahoula's got to go with me. So I guess you can be a service animal.
You'll have to go through testing and be a service animal. And then
I'm telling you, that dog has had more impact because, you're doing law enforcement. It's probably like the military to a certain extent. She's had a lot of effect on how common. If we get the voices get raised in the house, she would literally walk over and scratch me with her paw all the time. It's the
Send
craziest.
You the message. Send you a message.
And when she does it, I immediately calm down. It's the craziest thing in the world.
So she is a service dog.
They should put the thing and let me take her wherever I go.
I need that dog.
Yeah.
Can I borrow that dog sometime?
Zoe's my girl. See, we have a very close relationship.
I have a big pit bull.
Yeah. Catahoula's.
Teddy has a cat. I'm not supposed to share this, but we tried the service dog thing. We did. We tried a puppy. We even had a trainer come into the house, and it just is a lot for someone that's already stressed out, and now you add a puppy to it. That's supposed to be a puppy for training, right? So you're like not letting them really be a puppy. You're letting them do that, and so that did not work out. And we got this cat. I've asked for a cat for many years, and finally I was like, I'm going to go save a cat. I did not save it. I just got this cat. And
you tolerate the cat, or you like the cat?
Oh, that's his best friend. I wish you could see his face right now.
So don't be ashamed.
Here's the funny thing.
Yeah.
So, burly dudes,
big
cats. Tough guys. I'm not a cat guy. Well, you're not a cat guy because a cat hasn't chosen you to be a cat guy.
Right.
Yeah.
This cat has chosen me to be a cat guy.
Yeah.
I cannot walk more than 10 feet in the house, and that cat is right beside me.
If,
like you said, if I get amped up about something, I can just sit down wherever I can stand there, and that cat is like
knows it. They know
she sits on his chest and she just purrs.
Oh, okay.
And he just immediately,
yeah.
Every cat I've had found me.
Cat.
Yeah.
Murphy, 19 years that cat was.
Oh my goodness, I could not imagine.
Like he would not go to bed until Jimmy, and he would lay by his head.
Yeah.
Meanest cat I've ever seen in my life. He was part Siamese and part something. He was huge. And he didn't like certain people. Like we had a couple of buddies that come in, and you could tell he didn't. He would hiss and carry on.
Yeah.
Me, he was always
pick up
cool
on the
with
vibes.
And you play with him, and he was mean. He'd fight with you and stuff. But with Jimmy, it was like you never seen a guy and a cat get that close. Murphy was. They were like that. 19 years that cat was.
It's a long. That's a long time
When
to have a pet.
on the floor, her nails need clipped.
Yeah.
Tick 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 tick. So I get her clippers and I just do this a couple times.
Yeah.
Put it in her recliner. She jumps right up there, sits down,
Yeah.
grab them.
Really?
And she likes to have them
Yeah.
clipped.
No, I don't know if she likes it, but she will do all 20
She's
nails.
obedient.
Yeah, she'll just
Smart
sit there,
cat.
You know, and she's
Yeah.
like, you know, making her noise. I'm like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
fine.
I've got my dog now that he'll.
It is hilarious.
My dog will walk in the
That's
shower.
crazy.
Yeah.
I just open the door and he goes, okay, and he walks in.
Yeah, if
It's
we're
like, awesome.
outside, we have sliding glass doors. If we're outside, we always open the curtain so she can see out. If he is outside, that cat is at the door,
Ready to go.
looking outside.
Looking for you.
That's like a dog. Your cat's like a
basically-
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no service animal that we've looked at several organizations. I spent a long time looking at organizations that could compare to that cat. Which is
Yeah.
crazy, right?
It is, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty well versed in veteran organizations and first responder organizations. We're big advocates for PTSD and mental health awareness. And anyone that says no to a dog, I'm like, get a cat. Let's just try it. Let's just get a cat. Low maintenance.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, we'll take the cat back. But it works. I mean,
Yeah.
Emily, do you have any animals?
We have a dog. That's about it.
any tricks?
We have 5.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
She does rescues.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Small dog rescues, and I'm not
All
saying
of
I
mine were
dislike 'em.
rescues.
I'm just not like close to those dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and they growl and carry. They're just and they're all old, and they got real weird idiosyncrasies or whatever.
Yeah.
And Zoe's
They're all
like
set in
she
their ways.
tolerates them, and she's like looks at them. Of course, they're all compared to her, she's 75 pounds, and they're 15 or 10. So if that, yeah, I don't want 5 dogs, but that's her thing. So I'm good with it. She wants to have them. But yeah, there's always. I've had dogs, and we've had dogs our whole lives. The boys had dogs, and I had a dog named Justice. She was a red-nosed bulldog, and she just whatever it was she attached to Jacob. I got video of him jumping in the lake and her jumping in there, swimming after him, and yelping and whining the whole time. She stayed on his tail his whole life, and his brother Austin too. Titus was her son. He was a part red-nosed, and the daddy was an American bulldog. That's Melissa's dog. I mean, always on her. And I had dogs when I was young, but when we had Zoe, when I bought Zoe for Melissa, because Titus passed away, at a certain extent, she does love. But she's always joking about how close we are, because I'll lay on her and to pet her, and she growls and it's the craziest stuff, noises she makes, and we throw the baseball all day, and I don't know. It's just this one attached to me. A lot of the other ones I saw, the dogs that we had over my life with it, except when I was a little kid, and this one just
That one's your dog.
Yeah, she
That was your
gravitates to
dog.
me.
She knows it. Yeah.
She does.
Well,
We kind of went on
A little tangent there.
you rabbit hole today.
Really gonna get out and devote.
It was Larry's day to rabbit hole. I'm the rabbit hole around here,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
usually it's not.
it's usually Jim. But
She's not me.
but
That's great. Yeah.
But that's
so-
cool. I mean, we talk about animals all day long. So yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
we're pro animals
see
here.
you in her role and then president one day. That's what
Maybe.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well,
You're
Hopefully.
taking Esther's job at some point. But I expect to see 1,000 members by then.
Let's hope so.
Well,
That's
our
the
goal,
That'd be great.
our
That's the
goal
goal.
this year, I believe, is 600 by the end of the year.
It's necessary. It's not
It is
even like you want.
absolutely
It's necessary.
Yeah.
You're
We're
at
at 442.
Up from what? Like 2 digits?
600, yeah.
Double digits?
We were at about 100 when
100.
Esther took
Gotcha.
over.
600.
Wow.
That's doable.
600 people by the end of the year.
Yeah, you're
that
almost
includes men.
Well,
so
Esther's
if
a
you
great-
guys join, that's an
yeah.
extra 2 we can just
Okay.
check off.
Well, she's
And
a great
think of
networker,
it-
so I can see
We
how.
think of it in the numbers term, right? So if we have 400 members times 10, right? So those people are going to reach out to 10 people, hopefully. That's
Yeah, it's a
quite a
network,
bit of people
right.
that we're able to reach. And
Right.
we just really want everyone come to an event. We have them at lunch in the evening. We are trying to get events for every demographic, every time. You don't have to pay for all of our events. Some events are come as you are. And we're educating. We have speakers. And not just Joe Schmo talking about how mad he is that we don't have recycling right now. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, that was another show.
subject.
That was another show we had.
And
we
so,
talked about.
but we're
Literally,
talking
yeah.
about, different policies, how we can be involved in different organizations. And we really want everyone to be an educated voter. And if you want to be involved in politics, that you can be involved in politics too. Elected officials are just people at the end of the day. People that
Most of them. Some of them.
But that's another.
Yeah. I'm not going down another rabbit hole.
But we want you to come and talk to elected officials. We almost every single one of our events, we have councilmen, senators, state representatives there.
Last month it was Attorney General Ashley Moody.
We had Ashley Moody.
Really?
Yes. We can pull some
Where
big
was that
names.
held at?
The River Club.
The River Club. So does the location change all the time?
Our regular luncheons are at San Jose Country Club.
Okay.
And then,
not far from me.
yeah,
where I live,
and then our Women, Wine, and Wisdom, which is a evening event where we have different speakers. We've had Senator Aaron Bean, we've had Clay Yarborough, we've had Cord Bird, John Rutherford, Congressman John Rutherford, big names, right, in our political arena here. And so those are free.
Well, you get
in
Chuck
the
Brandon
evenings.
on. They need to have Chuck Brandon.
They should.
Yeah.
To speak.
So
He's Cord Bird's old roommate, and he's running for State House seat District 10.
He's as an incumbent.
He was our previous guest. He's the incumbent.
yeah. So, and then we have, that, and then some of our special events when we had the AG, that usually a different location, kind of where we can fit that many people. We have to have security, different things like that.
We've got some heavy hitters, and they clearly know you guys are carrying some weight.
We are
you've got some.
Yeah.
You've got some pull. If they're willing to come speak at your events, then they know
we work.
that y'all are getting
Our
things
women
done.
work.
Esther got appointed to.
She got voted. All of our officers.
No, she got
to the State School Board of Education.
There you go.
Yes.
And Cord's now Secretary of State.
Yeah.
So there's.
So we have some big names even
there's
running our
moving on.
club,
Moving
right?
on
So
up.
we get some insiders sometimes.
Like George Jefferson moving on up.
Getting you. I can see your wheels turning over there.
Yeah.
So we just want you guys to go on, follow our social
We will.
medias.
Yeah, we will.
We are.
And join our club. So I expect to see
Yeah.
in the next 24, 48 hours, Larry and Jem's applications in.
Okay.
It's a selection process, though. I mean, we still got to verify our
So we've got to be
registration.
vetted?
We vet you. We vet our speakers.
You can
we
do
vet our
background checks
members.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Melissa. She's a Republican.
Find out what kind
Yeah.
of pets we have and everything.
Yeah, so I already know that. Thanks to this podcast.
So actually, this has been them interviewing us. We just didn't know it.
Yeah.
That's what this is really all about.
Pre-screening.
Yeah, they're screening us.
Yeah, so
All right.
we'll have to talk about it afterwards. but
Okay. Well,
yeah.
good.
Well, thank you guys.
Some of the best discussions we have are off the air, unfortunately. We should probably keep the recordings going.
Find our Facebook and then send your essay. You just cut and paste it, put it to an
Absolutely.
email, and I'll just cut and paste it from there. And we'll
Absolutely.
Or Zach. Sometimes we just call him because we're like, I don't know. Jim can't turn on half his shit anyway. Excuse my language.
I can barely,
there you go.
I can barely use my TV remote.
Yeah, and he's like,
honey,
I don't know,
can
I
you do
can't.
this?
We got it. And Zach was supposed to be here to fix that today, and obviously he's not here with a stomach bug. But it's all right. Excuse the language.
Ladies, thanks for coming.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
having us.
I mean, it was our pleasure having y'all.
And Teddy.
Yeah, and
Thanks for coming
Teddy hiding over there. We'll have Teddy back again soon.
Yeah.
Teddy's got some upcoming initiatives.
Okay. Well, that's something for us to talk
Yeah.
about.
Next time, we'll have to
With veterans.
plug.
And first responders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, I told him, I was like, I was a fireman for 6 years, so.
Well, you didn't tell us that. You should have told us that like an hour ago.
No, it's okay. I'm
45 minutes
saying
ago.
that now to say
You were a
that,
firefighter?
Yes.
No kidding.
That's all my family. I'm the black sheep of the family.
Yeah. And so.
All my family was firefighters.
I was like, any
Well, not
initiatives
all
we
my family.
have
I
for
wasn't.
mental health and awareness,
Anything for first responders.
we're putting our first responders in there. Yep.
Yeah, and they have their struggles. They've all got their own struggles. It's tough jobs being first responders.
You know, I know a lot of them.
Tough jobs. They see a lot of bad stuff.
Uncles, really only one uncle's. No, I got a cousin left that was a fire lieutenant. An uncle was also a fire lieutenant. I have another cousin was a fire captain. And then two uncles that were fire chiefs. And I know cancer is a big deal in a fire.
Yeah.
You know, and they've changed some of the. They've got a lot of support for cancer now for them, and then I think it's probably improved their equipment too. They've
Absolutely,
done a lot of improvements in their equipment because of that. Because back in the day, they just breathed whatever they went into.
And we
They
didn't
really
know.
cared.
We didn't know how our gear. I mean, when I didn't get in that long ago, but when I got in, like having dirty gear and having a dirty helmet was like a sign of
like having a scarred up.
it was pride. It was like, oh, I've been here. I've had some fires. And then,
like
if people start dying of cancer, like, this is not fun anymore. And everyone, it was not cool. I have a really good friend, and her husband passed away from cancer. He was, late 30s, early 40s, left 3 girls. He was a Marine and then a fireman, and he died of cancer. And
So
It was under the radar for a long time. I think 9/11.
It
was related to his career.
It was related to his career, So, I mean, it just happens when you're in your gear, you're sweating, your pores are open, all those carcinogens from the fire, especially, a lot of fires we have nowadays.
Well, the equipment would filter a lot of the stuff.
It's not filtering. But not even
Filter
the
smoke, but not.
it's not even the
chemicals.
air. It's like when the chemicals, you got to think when you're off gassing, right? So everything's burning, plastics are burning, and all the crap that they put into plastics is off gassing. It's going into your gear. You're sweating. Your pores are open, and just years of those chemicals being in your skin.
Absorbing it.
Yeah, and it's not lung cancer was a huge thing because of 9/11, but then people getting cancer in their throat or prostate cancer because of what are the undergarments you wear.
Just general exposure.
General exposure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and like
Just
I said,
contact.
I did not wash my helmet. I did not want to wash my helmet. I thought it was cool that all the smoke it looked cool. And I was like, I've been in some fires, right?
Yeah.
Not cool.
Well, it's like having a badge, a police badge that's got scrapes on the on the badge.
Yeah.
You don't go get a new badge.
I won't keep talking about it, but Jimmy, he's got ALS.
I got to meet his horse. The horse that's named after him. Yeah, we got to meet a judge this weekend.
And this relates to military too. So there's no nexus yet, but they're looking at it. So there's I think it's 10, Shannon said it's 10 to 20% higher incidence of ALS in first responders and a 50% higher of those in the military with ALS. And they think it might be related to the gas exposure. And Jimmy was over field force for 20 years.
Wow.
And I've got pictures. I mean, Jimmy's a stud. Walking around in CS and CN gas with no mask on. He could breathe it like air. Like it never affected him. I mean, he's a psychopath like that. Just could breathe it like air.
Wow.
But he was around it so long, he could breathe it. But now they're looking at it like it may have been a contributing factor because if you look at ALS, 90% is sporadic and 10% is familiar. It means there's a genetic link. But at 90% sporadic, having something, there's usually some causal factor. They don't know where it comes from. But if you see an area like the military where there's in those 50% higher nexus, they think of those members from the military having ALS or 10, 20% from first responders, and you look at it, and then everybody's related to it, and it's been exposure over a period of however many years that they've been exposed to that kind of stuff. So the same thing with fire, being related to the carcinogens from smoke and inhalation or chemicals that they've been exposed to. It's just awful. Yeah. Well, another rabbit hole I didn't.
I'm glad
that's
you brought that up because that's a show.
That is a whole show.
That would be a great subject to talk about. Some of the occupational hazards of first responders, other than getting shot at.
But we're proud of you.
We are
occupational hazards.
And
we're very proud of you.
Not going like UCLA or something like that. So you're doing it all here.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah. But good. Send us that. We'll put that up and we'll talk about that because I think a lot of young people need to hear that kind of stuff. They do.
And your family's always been really friends of law enforcement.
They have.
Too, very much so. We remember that. We never forget stuff like that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to wrap with all that. Anything else before we wrap? Okay. That was Kaitlin Colegate with the Republican Women's Club Duval Federated, also known as RWCDF. And we've got Emily Soud, one of the scholarship recipients. So
and there was 3.
There were 3 winners.
Right.
The other 2 weren't.
Names? Yeah. Wow. I should
ladies, get engaged.
We'll get on that.
Look, check them out on the internet.
On that one.
Yeah. Way to really
check back.
Yeah.
In the conversation. This was going really good, Larry, okay?
End it on that. All right.
Yeah. But anyways, ladies, get engaged. Bring your men and get involved.
Yeah.
And help them grow this group. It's clear from what y'all heard, this group is taken very seriously by some of the heavy hitters in politics today. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. That was Real Jacks with Jim, Larry, and Crawfish. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.